The fiery red Porsche engine roared, then fell silent as Catherine Harper stepped onto the granite-paved path at the Napa Valley Vineyard estate. She was a queen reclaiming her crown. 3 6-year-old girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage, dressed in matching pale purple dresses, followed their mother. Their curious eyes locked onto Gabriel, the man who had called her too old, barren, 7 years ago. The wedding guests of Gabriel gasped, realizing the groom faced 3 triplet daughters he never knew existed, while he was about to marry Sophia, Catherine's sister. But when Catherine spoke, she revealed her journey from homelessness to billionaire status and Sophia's plot. It was enough to topple Napa's elite. Will this truth destroy everything? The morning sunlight glinted through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the luxurious San Francisco penthouse where Catherine Harper stood before a gold-rimmed mirror. Her sapphire silk dress hugged her frame, accentuating the graceful lines of a 8-year-old woman who had triumphed over adversity. Her glossy brown hair was pinned up high. Pearl earrings gleamed like a silent proclamation. She was no longer the Catherine of 7 years ago, abandoned with a suitcase and a broken heart. Today, she was the queen of Harper Innovations, a $3 billion medical technology empire, and mother to 3 triplet girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage. On the cream-colored Persian rug, the 3 6-year-old girls, dressed in matching pale purple dresses with neatly braided hair, played with sparkling Lego blocks. Violet, the sharp-eyed leader, built a towering structure, muttering about balance principles. Ivy, the dreamer, drew a dolphin on paper, whispering to Sage about the free ocean. Sage, the quietest, clutched a small science book, her eyes lit up reading about stars. The 3 girls, identical with blue eyes and stubborn smiles, were reflections of both Catherine and Gabriel, the father they had never met. Catherine knelt, adjusting the ribbon on Violet's dress. "Mommy, are we meeting Daddy today?" Violet asked, her voice clear but determined, as if she'd prepared for this moment. Catherine smiled, her heart aching as she recalled 7 years ago when Gabriel Thornton, with cold eyes, called her too old, barren, before kicking her out of their Los Angeles penthouse. "Yes, my love," she replied, her voice calm though her mind churned like ocean waves. "But remember, we always hold hands, no matter what happens." Ivy and Sage nodded, their small hands clasped tightly, forming an unbreakable circle. The room buzzed as Nathan Cole, Catherine's business partner and closest friend, entered. His gray suit hugged his tall frame. "You sure about this, Catherine?" he asked, his brown eyes flashing with concern and pride. "Today's Gabriel's wedding. He won't see it coming." Catherine stood, her gaze steely. 7 years is long enough to stay silent, Nathan. Today, he'll know who I am and who his daughters are. She glanced out the window, where the fiery red Porsche 911 Turbo S stood proudly under the sun. It was a symbol of her journey from rock bottom to the pinnacle of success. The $2 million car wasn't just transport to Napa Valley. It was a reminder of nights sleeping in a car, pregnant with 3 girls in despair. Arthur Bennett, the 5-year-old sage advisor of Harper Innovations, entered with a warm smile. He was like the father Catherine never had. "The paparazzi are waiting out there," he said, his voice tinged with humor. "They think you're here to launch a new product. They'll be shocked to see you brought a family." Catherine laughed, a fleeting moment easing the tension. She checked the DNA documents in her bag, undeniable proof that Violet, Ivy, and Sage were Gabriel's. "Today isn't just about me," she said, looking at her girls. "It's about my daughters, and the truth." As Catherine led the girls to the car, sunlight glinted off their hair, creating tiny halos. They walked like a miniature army, ready to face the world. The Porsche roared to life as Catherine started it. The sound was a declaration of war. Napa Valley, with its sprawling vineyards and Gabriel's lavish wedding, awaited an earthquake. What else did Catherine carry in her bag besides the DNA documents? And why did she choose the wedding day to appear? All right, dear audience. If you're watching and find this story intriguing, comment the number 1, or "I'm still here," to keep listening. Rain poured down, threatening to drown Los Angeles. Each drop hit the penthouse windows like the angry heartbeat of Catherine Harper. 7 years ago, in this opulent room, she faced Gabriel Thornton, the man who promised her the world. The crystal chandelier's light fell on his cold face. His salt and pepper hair was neatly combed, his blue eyes icy. "You're 31, Catherine," he said, his voice dry as a financial report. "You're not young anymore. You can't have children. I need a real woman." Those words, sharp as a blade, sliced through her heart, leaving a wound that never fully healed. Catherine recalled that moment, her hands gripping the Porsche's wheel as she drove through Napa Valley's winding roads toward Gabriel's wedding. She still saw Sophia, her sister, standing behind Gabriel in a tight dress. Her blonde hair gleamed like artificial sunlight. Sophia, 23, with a sweet smile hiding envy, had wormed her way into Catherine's life long before. "He deserves better, sis," Sophia had said, her eyes sparkling with ambition. Catherine believed it was a joke until Gabriel chose Sophia, casting her out with a suitcase and insults. That night, under dim streetlights, Catherine curled up in an old car. A pregnancy test in her hand showed 2 clear lines. She was pregnant, a miracle Gabriel never believed possible. Brief joy was drowned by fear. She had no home, no money, only a life, no, 3 lives growing inside her. A doctor later confirmed she carried triplets, a rare high-risk pregnancy. "You need absolute rest," the doctor warned, but Catherine gave a bitter smile. Rest? With $50 in her pocket and a failing car? The months that followed were hell. Catherine slept in her car at hospital parking lots, surviving on charity bread and free coffee from kind nurses. She cradled her belly, whispering to her unborn girls, "Mommy won't give up. You're why I live." Each night, she wrote in an old notebook, recording dreams of a better future, not for revenge, but to prove she wasn't useless, as Gabriel claimed. She imagined standing before him, not with tears, but with the pride of a victor. In her memories, Gabriel's image faded, but the pain remained sharp. She recalled his eyes as he turned away, without hesitation, leaving her with a double betrayal, from her lover and her sister. Sophia, with a triumphant smile, had stolen the life Catherine built. But today, everything would change. Catherine glanced at the back seat, where Violet, Ivy, and Sage sang a nursery rhyme. Their clear voices rang like wind chimes. The girls, with their father's blue eyes and their mother's fierce will, were living proof of her resilience. As the Porsche curved through lush vineyards, Catherine felt her heart pound harder. She wasn't just bringing 3 daughters to Gabriel's wedding. She carried the truth and a bigger secret, tied to Sophia's plot with MedTech Solutions, a rival aiming to sabotage Harper Innovations. Today, she'd confront not only Gabriel but expose the cruelest betrayal. How did Catherine turn those painful days into strength to face Gabriel and Sophia today? Are you still here, dear audience? Take a moment to relax, maybe grab a glass of water, and keep listening to this gripping story. Comment 1 if you find it intriguing. Don't forget to subscribe. The fiery red Porsche 911 Turbo S sped through Napa Valley's winding roads. Its engine roared like a declaration of war, shattering the morning's stillness. Catherine Harper gripped the wheel, her icy gaze reflected in the rearview mirror. The $2 million car wasn't just transport to Gabriel Thornton's wedding. It was a symbol of her journey from sleeping in cars to reigning as the queen of Harper Innovations, a $3 billion medical tech empire. In the back seat, Violet, Ivy, and Sage, 6-year-old triplets, sang a nursery rhyme. Their clear voices, like wind chimes, soothed the storm in Catherine's heart. She glanced at the crocodile leather bag on the passenger seat, holding DNA documents and a small USB drive proof not only of the girl's paternity, but of Sophia's plot with MedTech Solutions to steal Harper Innovations technology. Catherine wasn't here to beg or plead. She came to claim justice, for herself and her daughters, who deserved to know their father. Today, Napa Valley would witness an earthquake. In the penthouse that morning, before leaving, Nathan Cole, her business partner and closest friend, sat across from her at the walnut dining table. His gray suit hugged his tall frame, but his brown eyes betrayed worry. "You sure, Catherine?" he asked, his voice heavy. "It's Gabriel's wedding day. He won't take this lightly." Catherine sipped her coffee, its bitter taste recalling days of free hospital coffee. 7 years is long enough to stay silent, Nathan, she replied, her eyes blazed. "He needs the truth, and Sophia will pay for what she's done." Arthur Bennett, Harper Innovations veteran advisor, entered with a warm smile, holding an Earl Grey tea. At 65, he was a guiding light through Catherine's darkest days. "Paparazzi are swarming the vineyard," he said, his voice laced with humor. "They think you're launching a new product. They'll be stunned to see your tiny army." Catherine laughed, easing the tension briefly. Arthur placed a hand on her shoulder, his tone serious. "You built an empire from nothing. Today show them the real Catherine Harper." Catherine recalled the day Harper Innovations went public. She stood on a New York stage, flashbulbs blinding her. That day, she bought the red Porsche not to flaunt, but to remind herself of cold nights in a car, pregnant, coding on an old laptop. Each line of code built her empire, from hospital management software to AI saving millions of lives. Nathan and Arthur stood by her, from dingy cafe meetings to gleaming San Francisco offices. Now, as the Porsche curved through green vineyards, Catherine's heart beat stronger. She brought not only her daughters Violet with sharp intellect, Ivy with a dreamy soul, Sage with endless curiosity but 7 years of resilience and a meticulous plan. Nathan had verified the DNA documents. Arthur had a top lawyer ready for Sophia's moves. The Porsche slowed as the vineyard estate appeared. Sunlight glinted off its glass roof, signaling an unrelenting confrontation. What in that tiny USB would make Gabriel and Sophia tremble when Catherine arrived? At the vineyard where Gabriel Thornton's wedding was set to unfold, the air in the groom's room hung heavy, like before a storm. Gabriel, 44, stood before a silver-rimmed mirror, adjusting white gold cufflinks. Each movement betrayed tension. His salt and pepper hair was neatly combed, his physique honed by a personal trainer, but his blue eyes flickered with unease, as if he faced a trial, not a wedding. His $10,000 black tuxedo couldn't hide the emptiness gnawing at his soul. The door swung open, and Sophia, the bride-to-be, entered in a $75,000 diamond-encrusted silk gown. Her blonde hair was intricately braided, but her smile was forced, like a perfect painting with a flawed stroke. "Gabriel, are you nervous again?" she snapped, her voice sharp, her arms crossed as if ready for a fight. "Today has to be perfect, you understand? All the press and VIPs are out there." Gabriel glanced at her, forcing a smile, but the emptiness grew sharper. Sophia, with her talk of social media followers and designer bags, never filled the void Catherine Harper left 7 years ago. Gabriel remembered Catherine, the woman he once loved, with warm brown eyes and a smile that made him feel he could conquer the world. But he chose Sophia, her younger sister, for her youth and promise of a perfect future. That choice now weighed like a stone on his chest. He turned away, gazing out the window where 250 guests mingled under oak trees, laughing over glasses of deep red wine. But his mind wandered, pulled back to days with Catherine, building dreams in a small Los Angeles apartment. Why had he let her go? Eleanor, Gabriel's mother, refused to attend the wedding, a decision that stung him. The 70-year-old, with regal silver hair and sharp eyes, never forgave him for abandoning Catherine. "You lost the best woman you ever had," she'd said, her voice heavy with disappointment, at their last meeting in the family's Santa Barbara mansion. Eleanor adored Catherine, treating her like a daughter, and always suspected Sophia, whom she called a chameleon climbing for status. Gabriel tried to persuade her, but she shook her head. "I won't attend a mistake." Her words echoed in his mind, a warning of something looming. In the room, Sophia scrolled her phone, checking X posts with number Thornton wedding. "They're obsessed with my dress," she said, her voice smug, but Gabriel didn't respond. He felt like an actor on a stage, playing a role he didn't want. The quartet's violins drifted in from the garden, soft but haunting, like music heralding a tragedy. He rubbed his face, trying to shake the feeling that today wouldn't go as planned. Sophia, noticing his silence, frowned. "What are you thinking? Don't embarrass me in front of everyone." But Gabriel only stared out the window, his gaze lost, as if searching for something or someone from the past. As the officiant began seating guests on white silk chairs, Gabriel felt a chill run down his spine. This lavish wedding felt like it didn't belong to him. Catherine's image flashed in his mind, and a wordless question lingered. Where was she, and why couldn't he forget her? What made Gabriel feel like he was walking into a trap just before the ceremony began? And now, dear audience, pause for a moment to subscribe before diving into the main act. But only if you truly connect with this story. Leave a comment below to tell me where you're watching from and what time at island. It's thrilling to see everyone joining us from all over. Golden sunlight flooded the Napa Valley Vineyard Garden. 250 guests sat on white silk chairs, holding sparkling wine glasses under the sundae. The violin quartet played Canon in D, its melody floating like an autumn breeze. But the air at Gabriel Thornton's wedding felt heavy, like a performance about to collapse. Ancient oak trees cast shade. White roses lined the aisle. Silk banners fluttered in the breeze, creating a lavish scene. But Gabriel, standing before a flower-adorned altar, felt like he was in a ritual not his own. Sophia, radiant in her $75,000 diamond-encrusted gown, walked down the petal-strewn aisle. Her blonde hair gleamed intricately braided. The crowd gasped, paparazzi cameras flashed, but Gabriel's smile was strained. His blue eyes drifted, as if his mind were elsewhere. 7 years ago, he'd imagined a different wedding with Catherine Harper, the woman he loved but pushed away with cruel insults. Today, at the altar, he felt like an actor in Sophia's play, following a script he didn't write. The officiant, a middle-aged man with a warm voice, stepped to the podium, raising a hand for silence. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice echoing through speakers. "If anyone objects to this marriage, speak now, or forever hold your peace." The crowd fell silent. Only rustling leaves and clinking glasses broke the quiet. Gabriel looked at Sophia, searching for genuine emotion, but she only smiled, her eyes scanning the crowd like a star performing. He felt a chill, as if a premonition warned of something coming. In that silent moment, a sound tore through the air, the roar of a Porsche 911 Turbo S, bold and proud, like thunder in a clear sky. The crowd turned, whispering excitedly. Sophia, beside Gabriel, frowned, clutching her bouquet tightly. "What the hell is that?" she muttered, her voice tinged with panic. Gabriel, heart pounding, looked toward the estate's entrance, where a fiery red streak approached. The car stopped on the granite path. Sunlight glinted off its body like blazing fire. The door opened, and a figure stepped out, regal as a warrior entering battle. Guests held their breath. Some stood, phones raised to record. The officiant coughed, trying to restore order, but no one listened. Gabriel's throat went dry, his eyes locked on the entrance. Catherine Harper's image flashed in his mind. It couldn't be her, he thought, but his heart raced, as if it knew the truth before it was revealed. Sophia, sensing his shift, grabbed his hand, her nails dug into his skin. "Don't let them ruin our day," she whispered, her voice trembling. But Gabriel didn't answer. His gaze stayed fixed on the red streak shaking the ceremony. The violins stopped, as if the music itself was stunned by this arrival. The crowd buzzed. Number Thornton wedding began trending on X with posts like, "What's happening in Napa?" and "Who dares crash this wedding?" Gabriel felt every eye on him, but he couldn't look away from the entrance, where the figure was about to emerge, carrying a secret that could change everything. Who was stepping out of the red Porsche, and what would make this wedding crumble in an instant? The fiery red Porsche 911 Turbo S door opened, and Catherine Harper stepped onto the granite path like a queen declaring war. Napa Valley's sunlight gleamed on her sapphire silk dress, highlighting her neatly pinned brown hair and sparkling pearl earrings. At 38, she radiated the strength of a woman who turned pain into power. Behind her, 3 6-year-old girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage in pale purple dresses, held hands, walking with confidence beyond their years. The 250 guests at Gabriel Thornton's wedding held their breath. Cameras and phones rose, capturing the moment like a blockbuster scene. Catherine paused. Her icy gaze swept the crowd, locking onto Gabriel, frozen at the altar. Sophia, in her diamond-encrusted gown, clutched her bouquet. Her face paled as if she'd seen a ghost. "Hello, Gabriel," Catherine said, her voice calm but commanding, echoing through the silent vineyard. "These are your daughters, Violet, Ivy, and Sage. They turned 6 today." The girls raised their heads. Their blue eyes, identical to Gabriel's, pierced him, as if asking why he'd never been in their lives. The crowd erupted in whispers, like waves crashing on rocks. Some guests stood, phones recording frantically. Number Thornton wedding exploded on X with posts like "Drama in Napa" and "Who is this woman?" Gabriel, face ashen, staggered as if struck in the chest. He stared at the girls, recognizing his own blue eyes and stubborn chin. Impossible, he muttered, his voice fading. His eyes darted between Catherine and the girls, calculating time in his head. Sophia, beside him, screamed, her voice breaking. She's lying. Gabriel, you said she couldn't have children. Her words drowned in the crowd's growing murmurs. Violet, the sharp-eyed leader, stepped forward, saying loudly, Mommy said Daddy's important, but he never visited us. Her innocent words cut like a knife. Gabriel stepped back, gripping the altar for balance. Ivy, the dreamer, whispered to Sage, Is Daddy like a hero in fairy tales? Sage, the quiet one, shook her head, clutching her science book like a shield. Catherine stood tall, her eyes never leaving Gabriel. She wasn't here to beg or plead. She came to declare the truth. 7 years ago, he called her too old, barren, casting her out with cruel insults. Today, she stood as a tech billionaire, mother to 3 brilliant, strong girls, ready to expose not only the truth about their daughters but Sophia's plot with MedTech Solutions. She raised a hand, signaling the girls to stand close, like an invincible little army. Today is my daughter's birthday, she said, her voice a proclamation. And I think it's time their father knew they exist. Guests, from elite entrepreneurs to Hollywood stars, couldn't look away. Some began live streaming, turning the moment into a social media sensation. The officiant, flustered, tried to restore order, but no one cared about the ceremony. Sophia, sensing Gabriel's wavering gaze, grabbed his hand, her nails dug deep. Don't believe her, Gabriel, she shouted, but her voice was lost in the uproar. Catherine, with a cold smile, stepped forward. Her crocodile leather bag seemed to hold a bomb ready to detonate. How would Gabriel react to facing his daughters and the secret Catherine was about to reveal? The crowd's whispers exploded like a tsunami, sweeping through the lavish Napa Valley vineyard garden. Phones rose high. Cameras flashed relentlessly. Number Thornton wedding trended like wildfire on X with posts like, Wedding drama of the century, and Who's the mother of these kids? Catherine Harper stood proudly on the granite path, her icy gaze locked on Gabriel Thornton, still stunned at the altar. The 3 girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage, held their mother's hands. Their blue eyes sparkled with curiosity and courage, like 3 precious gems challenging the world. Sophia, in her diamond-encrusted gown, lunged toward Catherine, her face flushed with anger and panic. You have no right to ruin my day, she screamed, her voice shattering like glass. Her nails dug into her palms, leaving red marks like blood. But Catherine didn't flinch. She raised a hand, silencing Sophia, then turned to Gabriel, still frozen by the altar. His eyes flickered between the girls and the woman he betrayed. Gabriel, Catherine said, her voice calm but sharp as a blade. You think I'm only here about the girls? That's just the beginning. She pulled a small USB drive from her bag, holding it up. Sunlight glinted off its metal surface. This is proof Sophia sold Harper Innovations technology secrets to MedTech Solutions. My competitor, she declared, her voice echoing through the garden, drowning the crowd's whispers. Emails, texts, contracts all here, proving she took $5 million to steal my AI software, saving millions of patients. The crowd erupted. Whispers turned to shouts. A movie star in the front row yelled, She did that? Number Napa wedding scandal began overtaking Number Thornton wedding on X. Sophia staggered back, her face paled, lips trembling as if to protest but finding no words. You're making it up, she stammered, but her eyes darted, like a trapped animal. Gabriel, for the first time since Catherine's arrival, looked at Sophia with suspicion, his brows furrowed. Sophia, is it true? He asked, his voice low, holding back anger. Sophia turned to him, trying to grab his hand, but he pulled away, his gaze cold. Answer me, he said, his voice sharp as steel. Eleanor Thornton, Gabriel's mother, stood from the front row. At 70, she radiated elegance with silver hair and sharp eyes. She walked down the aisle, her heels clicked on the stone, her gaze fixed on the girls. My God, she whispered, tears streaming as she saw her son's blue eyes and stubborn chin in her granddaughter's. She knelt, hugging Violet, the leader, whispering, You're my blood. Violet, with confidence beyond her years, smiled. Do you like building Lego towers? The innocent question made the crowd chuckle, easing the tension briefly. Gabriel, still statue-like, felt his mind spin. He looked at Catherine, the woman he called useless, now a symbol of resilience. He recalled his cruel insults 7 years ago, choosing Sophia, believing her perfect. Now, the truth pierced his heart. 3 daughters, born from the woman he betrayed. Sophia, sensing his wavering gaze, grabbed his hand. Her voice shook. "Don't let her destroy us, Gabriel." But he pulled away. His eyes stayed on Catherine and the girls. Guests, from tycoons to Hollywood stars, couldn't look away. Live streams turned the moment into a global phenomenon on X, with millions of views in minutes. The officiant, flustered, tried to restore order, but the ceremony was forgotten. Catherine, with a cold smile, stepped forward. Her eyes promised she wasn't done. The USB in her bag held a secret that could shake not just the wedding but Napa's elite. Could Sophia salvage the wedding, or would Catherine's next secret destroy everything? Police sirens wailed in the distance, slicing through the chaotic whispers at the Napa Valley Vineyard Garden. They were a sharp blade cutting the crumbling wedding's air. 2 patrol cars glided into the estate. Red and blue lights flashed on half-empty wine glasses. Catherine Harper stood proudly on the granite path, holding her 3 girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage, like a living statue of resilience. The 250 guests, from tycoons to Hollywood stars, held their breath. Phones still recorded, pushing number Napa wedding scandal to millions of views on X. Detective Julia Carter, a middle-aged woman with short hair and sharp eyes, stepped from the first car, followed by a child welfare officer in a navy suit. Their arrival made Sophia, trembling in her diamond-encrusted gown, lunge forward, pointing at Catherine. "She's causing a disturbance. Arrest her!" Sophia screamed, her voice breaking, her blonde hair disheveled, a symbol of her collapse. But Detective Carter raised a hand for silence. Her eyes scanned the crowd, then settled on the girls, standing by their mother with fearless blue eyes. Catherine, with the calm of someone prepared for every scenario, pulled a thick file from her crocodile bag. "These are Violet, Ivy, and Sage's medical and school records," she said, her voice steady but weighty, handing them to the welfare officer. "My daughters are healthy, educated at San Francisco's top private school, and loved beyond measure." The officer, a young woman named Emily, flipped through the pages. Her eyes softened at perfect medical reports, ultrasound images from Catherine's pregnancy, and the girls' science and art awards. Detective Carter turned to Sophia, her gaze cold. "Mrs. Thornton, we got a 911 call about a disturbance here. But from what I see, this is a family matter, not a crime." Sophia, face flushed, tried to interrupt. "She showed up uninvited with kids to ruin my wedding. She's crazy." But Violet, the sharp leader, cut in, her voice clear. "Mommy's not crazy. She just wants us to know Daddy." Her innocent words drew laughter from the crowd, a light moment in the storm. Even Detective Carter smiled, shaking her head, charmed by Violet's courage. Gabriel, still at the altar, watched with a heavy heart. He couldn't look away from his daughters, unknown to him until now. And Catherine, the woman he betrayed. Eleanor, his mother, stood with her granddaughters. Tears streamed, but her smile glowed, hugging Ivy and Sage as if making up for 7 years. "They're angels," she whispered, making Sage, the quiet one, look up. "Do you know the brightest star?" Eleanor laughed. "You're my brightest star." Catherine, feeling the crowd's eyes, stepped forward, her gaze locked on Sophia. "You tried to destroy me again, Sophia," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "Today, I'm protecting not just my daughters but the empire I built." She glanced at Nathan Cole, standing beside her with the USB holding Sophia's MedTech Solutions plot. Detective Carter, sensing the situation's depth, nodded to Catherine. "We'll review this evidence," she said, making Sophia stagger, as if the ground beneath her crumbled. The crowd, fully absorbed, kept live streaming, turning every moment into a social media phenomenon. Catherine stood, shielded by her girls and the truth, knowing the battle had just begun. Would the law uncover more from the USB, or could Sophia turn the tables? Napa Valley's sunlight faded, gilding the vineyard garden where Gabriel Thornton's wedding had become a chaotic stage. Catherine Harper stood among the crowd, Her sharp eyes blazed with pride, holding her three girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage, like small flames lighting her painful past. The 250 guests, from tycoons to Hollywood stars, stayed glued to her. Phones live-streamed, pushing number Napa wedding scandal to millions of views on X. Detective Julia Carter and the welfare officer had left, confirming the girls' safety, leaving Catherine to face Gabriel and Sophia with the truth as her weapon. Catherine took a deep breath. Her voice rang out, steady but powerful, like a storyteller opening her life's book. 7 years ago, Gabriel, you kicked me out, called me useless, she said, her eyes locked on him, making him bow his head, unable to meet her gaze. I was pregnant with your 3 daughters, but you never knew, because you chose my sister. Sophia, stepping back, pale, tried to interrupt. She's lying. But the crowd, now siding with Catherine, glared, silencing her. She recalled those dark days, sleeping in a beat-up car in Los Angeles hospital lots. Her belly grew heavier. I lived on charity bread and free coffee from nurses, she said, her voice trembling as memories flooded back. I carried triplets, delivered at 29 weeks in a stormy night. Doctors said I could lose all 3 in my life. The crowd fell silent. Some wiped tears. Violet, beside her mother, squeezed her hand, lending strength. Ivy, the dreamer, whispered to Sage, Mommy's strong like a superhero, right? Sage nodded, clutching her science book like a shield. Catherine continued. Her eyes gleamed with pride. Violet, Ivy, and Sage spent 3 months in intensive care. Every day was a fight. I sat by their incubators, coding on an old laptop, knowing it was the only way to give them a future. She paused, glancing at Nathan Cole, who stood beside her, eyes proud. Nathan found me in a dingy cafe, coding hospital software. He believed in me, invested $10,000 to start Harper Innovations. Arthur Bennett, the veteran advisor, stood behind, smiling warmly. She's a genius, he'd said when Catherine pitched her AI idea to save patients. From a paper sketch, Harper Innovations became a $3 billion medical tech empire. Its software used in thousands of hospitals worldwide. Every line of code was a promise to my daughters, Catherine said, her voice stronger. I didn't just build a company. I built a future, so no one could call us useless again. Gabriel, at the altar, felt his heart constrict. He saw his blue eyes in the girls, and regret surged. Eleanor, his mother, held Ivy and Sage. Tears fell as she whispered, You were wrong, Gabriel. The crowd, swept into the story, applauded like watching an inspiring film. A Hollywood star in the front shouted, She's an icon. Number Catherine Harper began trending on X, rivaling number Napa wedding scandal. Catherine looked at Gabriel, her gaze no longer angry, but resolute. I'm not here for revenge, she said, her voice soft but strong. I came so my daughters know their father, and so Sophia pays for trying to ruin my company. She raised the USB. Sunlight gleamed on it like a victorious flame. Nathan stepped forward, ready to hand the evidence to the FBI. But in Catherine's eyes, something deeper lingered, as if she held an even bigger secret. How would Gabriel feel knowing Catherine's full journey, and what else hid in that USB? Warm golden light filled the private dining room at the Napa Valley Vineyards upscale restaurant. Sparkling wine glasses reflected on white silk tablecloths. Catherine Harper sat at one end of the table. Her sapphire silk dress enhanced her regal aura, her brown eyes sharp, watching every move. Across from her, Gabriel Thornton, in a simple but costly white shirt, tried to stay calm, though his heart pounded like his first boardroom meeting. Between them, the 3 6-year-old girls, Violet, Ivy, and Sage sat neatly. Their pale purple dresses shimmered under the lights, their blue eyes curiously fixed on the father they'd only met hours ago. This dinner was Gabriel's sudden idea, proposed after Detective Julia Carter left, confirming the girls' safety. I want to meet my daughters properly, he'd said to Catherine, his voice trembling, as if fearing rejection. Catherine, still wary, agreed not for Gabriel, but because Violet, Ivy, and Sage deserved a chance to know their father. The table was elegantly set with Wagyu steak, truffle mashed potatoes, and tiny macarons the girls pointed at excitedly. Mommy, these are like birthday cakes. Ivy, the dreamer, squealed, making the table laugh, easing the tension briefly. Violet, the sharp leader, looked at Gabriel, asking bluntly, "What's your favorite color, Daddy?" The innocent question caught Gabriel off guard. He smiled softly, replying, "Blue, like your eyes." The answer made Violet nod, as if logging a vital fact. Ivy, not to be outdone, chimed in. "Do you have a dolphin, Daddy? I want one." Gabriel laughed, his first genuine smile of the day, lighting his salt and pepper face. "Not yet, but I'll look into it," he promised, making Ivy clap excitedly. Sage, the quiet one, watched, clutching her science book, but her eyes softened when Gabriel asked, "What do you like to read, Sage?" She whispered, "About stars," and Gabriel nodded, as if memorizing every detail. Catherine watched. Her heart wavered between caution and a flicker of hope. Gabriel wasn't the cold man from 7 years ago, but she wasn't ready to forgive. She recalled nights sleeping in a car, whispering to her unborn girls, promising them a better life. Now, seeing them talk to Gabriel, she wondered if he could be part of their lives. Nathan Cole, beside her, touched her hand lightly. His warm brown eyes said, "You don't have to do this alone." Nathan, her rock through the darkest days, was her anchor. Eleanor Thornton, Gabriel's mother, sat beside Sage. Her eyes sparkled watching her granddaughters. "They're like Gabriel as a child," she said, her voice emotional, but strong like their mother. She shared a funny story of Gabriel as a boy, trying to build a Lego spaceship and collapsing the dining table, making Violet laugh. "I did that once." The warm, genuine moment felt like an invisible thread connecting the table, if only briefly. But tension lingered. Catherine knew Sophia, though humiliated and gone from the wedding, remained a threat. The USB with evidence of her MedTech Solutions plot was with Nathan, headed to the FBI, but Catherine sensed a bigger secret still hidden. Gabriel, feeling the moment's fragility, looked at Catherine. His eyes held regret. "I want to do right," he said, his voice low, but Catherine only nodded, not ready to respond. Could this warm family moment last, or would a new secret shatter it all? The 3 6-year-old girls, in matching whale-printed t-shirts, held hands, cheering as a glowing jellyfish floated by. Catherine Harper stood behind, her white maxi dress flowing in the sea breeze. She smiled at her daughter's joy. This was their first outing with Gabriel Thornton, the father who entered their lives after the chaotic Napa Valley wedding. But Catherine's smile faded when Gabriel's phone rang, shattering the warm moment. Gabriel, in a navy shirt and jeans, checked his phone, his salt and pepper face tensed. A text from Sophia flashed. "If you don't come back, I'll expose everything. Don't test me." He hesitated, his finger hovering over the screen. Unaware Violet, the sharpest, stood nearby. Her curious eyes glanced at the phone. "Who's that, Daddy?" she asked, her voice clear but suspicious. Gabriel flinched, locking the screen, but too late. Ivy, the dreamer, chimed in. "Is it the lady who yelled at the wedding?" Sage, quiet, hugged her marine life book, eyeing Gabriel like she could see through him. Before Gabriel could answer, a voicemail from Sophia played on speaker, her voice icy. "Those kids are just obstacles, Gabriel. Drop them. Come back to me." The crowd around the dolphin tank turned. Some whispered. Violet, Ivy, and Sage froze, their sparkling eyes now brimmed with tears. Ivy, voice trembling, asked, "Daddy, are we obstacles?" Her innocent words stabbed Gabriel's heart. He knelt, trying to explain. No, you're everything to me." But the girl's hurt eyes showed his words weren't enough. Catherine, watching from afar, stepped forward. Her eyes blazed like fire. "Gabriel, how could you let this happen?" she asked, her voice sharp, each word cut. She knelt, hugging her girls tightly, whispering, "You're mommy's treasures. No one can say otherwise." Violet, though strong, nestled into her mother. Sage gripped her book like a shield. Ivy, sensitive, sobbed, "I don't want to play anymore." Catherine, heart aching, stood, looking at Gabriel. "We're going home," she said, her voice final. "You don't deserve to be their father if you can't protect them." Gabriel, face pale, tried to hold on. "Catherine, I didn't mean it. I won't let Sophia hurt them again." But Catherine shook her head, leading the girls to the red Porsche waiting in the lot. The aquarium crowd, though unaware of the full story, accorded. Number Napa family drama trended on X. A nearby tourist muttered, "She's a queen." protecting her kids. Catherine, though furious, stayed composed, but her trust in Gabriel shattered again. As the Porsche sped from Monterey, the girls sat quietly in the back. Their eyes gazed out at the fading blue ocean. Catherine gripped the wheel, recalling lone nights raising them, vowing to shield them from pain. Gabriel, following in his car, felt regret crush his chest. He knew he'd failed, but could he make amends? Could Gabriel redeem himself after this mistake, or would Catherine forever close the door to protect her daughters? Light rain fell on San Francisco's cobblestone streets. Dim streetlights glowed on a handwritten letter Gabriel Thornton placed on his dark office desk. 10 months after the fateful Monterey Bay aquarium trip, he sat there, his salt and pepper hair disheveled, his blue eyes sad, staring at the words, Violet, Ivy, Sage. I'm sorry for letting you be hurt. I promise to be the father you deserve. The 43rd letter. Neatly folded in a pale purple envelope, the girl's favorite color was part of his relentless effort to atone for the mistake that let them hear Sophia's cruel words. Gabriel didn't dare face Catherine Harper or the girls directly after that day. Catherine's words, "You don't deserve to be their father if you can't protect them," cut deep into his heart. Instead, he chose quiet efforts, sending weekly letters to Catherine's modern San Francisco home. Each told a memory, a lesson, or a promise. Violet, you love Lego towers, right? I once built a spaceship and collapsed the dining table, he wrote in one, including a photo of a Lego spaceship he made. Ivy got his clumsy dolphin drawings. Sage received a list of the sky's brightest stars with a note. Someday, I'll show you them. He also founded a $10 million scholarship fund named for Violet, Ivy, and Sage, for outstanding science and art students at their private school. Gabriel quietly attended their events, Ivy's school play, Violet's science fair, Sage's Mars presentation standing in shadows, not daring to approach. He knew he had to prove change through actions, not words. Seeing the girls, with his blue eyes and Catherine's strength, filled him with pride and pain. Catherine, in her lavish penthouse, read each letter but never replied. She stored them in a walnut box, letting Violet, Ivy, and Sage decide when to read them. He's trying, Nathan Cole, her friend and partner, said one evening by the fireplace, sipping wine. But do you trust him? Catherine, in a white cashmere sweater, gazed at the city lights. I trust my daughters, she replied, her voice calm. If Gabriel wants to be in their lives, he must prove he's worthy. Meanwhile, Sophia vanished from Napa Valley after the wedding's collapse, but rumors said she was rebuilding her image, working with influencers to deny her MedTech Solutions plot. The FBI, with Catherine's USB, opened an investigation. Harper Innovations stood strong, even growing with new international hospital contracts. Catherine, though busy running her empire, never missed a night reading to her girls or answering their curious questions. Mommy, does Daddy really want to see us? Violet once asked, her sharp eyes seeking truth. Catherine smiled, ruffling her hair. I don't know, but if he's sincere, you'll feel it. Gabriel, in his office, folded the 44th letter. His eyes gleamed with resolve. He knew redemption was a long road, but each letter was a step. Eleanor, his mother, visited her granddaughters, bringing Lego and science books, bridging Gabriel to them. Be patient, son, she advised, her voice kind. Gabriel nodded, but his heart remained heavy. Asterisk mini hook, asterisk will the girls open their hearts to Gabriel after his letters, or will Catherine keep her distance to protect them forever? San Francisco's sky glowed with sunset, gilding the garden behind Catherine Harper's modern mansion, where Violet, Ivy, and Sage's 7th birthday party buzzed with joy. Pale purple balloons floated above. The white silk-covered table held macarons, dolphin cupcakes, and a giant cake with the girls' names. Children's laughter rang as Violet, Ivy, and Sage, in sparkling dresses, chased shimmering soap bubbles under the sundae. Catherine, in an elegant white maxi dress, watched her daughters. Her heart swelled with joy, though a hint of caution lingered. The party was meticulously planned, with Nathan Cole turning the garden into a wonderland. Lanterns on walnut trees cast warm light. A science station with telescopes and planet models delighted Sage. Ivy had a painting corner with easels and watercolors. Violet beamed at a giant Lego spaceship set. Best birthday ever. Violet cheered, her blue eyes sparkling, making Nathan laugh as he ruffled her hair. As long as my princesses are happy. Suddenly, a silver car pulled up, and Gabriel Thornton stepped out, holding 3 purple-wrapped gifts. The small crowd, friends, Eleanor, and Harper Innovations staff whispered curiously. Gabriel, in a navy shirt, looked humbler than at the chaotic wedding 10 months ago. He knelt before the girls, his blue eyes sincere, handing each a gift. "Happy birthday, my girls," he said, his voice warm. Violet opened a science book set about the universe. Ivy got professional paints. Sage squealed at a compact microscope. "Daddy picked what I love." Sage, usually quiet, hugged Gabriel, leaving him speechless. Tears glistened. Catherine watched from afar. Her heart wavered. Over 10 months, Gabriel proved change with weekly letters and the girls' scholarship fund. She wasn't fully forgiving, but the girls' joyful eyes softened her. Eleanor, beside Catherine, whispered, "He's trying, Catherine. He loves them." She nodded, her gaze on Gabriel, helping Violet build Lego, smiling like a true father. The mood brightened as Nathan stepped to the garden's center, holding a small velvet box. He knelt before Catherine. His warm brown eyes glowed with love. "Catherine Harper," he said, his voice echoing through applause. "You've made my life an incredible journey. Will you marry me?" The diamond ring sparkled. The girls cheered, rushing to hug their mother. "Say yes, Mommy," Ivy shouted, making everyone laugh. Catherine, tears streaming, nodded. "Yes, Nathan." The crowd clapped. Violet, sharp as ever, whispered to Gabriel, "Daddy, you're friends with Uncle Nathan now, right?" Gabriel smiled, nodding. "Yes, sweetheart." Gabriel, now Nathan's friend, vowed to move to San Francisco to be near his daughters, promising to be a better father. Catherine looked at her new family, Nathan, Gabriel, Eleanor, and the girls feeling fragile harmony but hope. The red Porsche at the gate, no longer a symbol of revenge, stood as proof of her resilient journey. *Minihook. *. Will this new family endure coming challenges, or will an old secret return to break everything? Napa Valley's golden sunset bathed the vineyard garden. Catherine Harper stood watching Violet, Ivy, and Sage play with Nathan Cole and Gabriel Thornton. The red Porsche, once a symbol of vengeance, sat quietly by the gate. It was proof of her rise from rock bottom to proud heights. From a betrayed, homeless woman, Catherine built Harper Innovations, a $3 billion empire, protected her daughters from Sophia's schemes, and found love with Nathan. Gabriel, once a betrayer, learned to be a father through letters and a scholarship fund, proving change is possible with a repentant heart. The healing lesson from this story is the power of resilience and forgiveness. Catherine didn't let pain define her. She turned it into fuel for a better future for her daughters. Gabriel, despite mistakes, chose redemption, reminding us family is not just blood but dedication and love. Nathan, ever by Catherine's side, proved true love can heal any wound. But the story isn't over. Will this new family overcome future challenges as Sophia might return with new schemes? Will Violet, Ivy, and Sage grow up in harmony, or will the past return to shatter everything? Leave a comment if you want a part 2. Share your thoughts on Catherine's journey, and tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. We're thrilled you're here. Share this story with friends and family in the USA.